Naval blockades and maritime chokepoints, controlling the sea. In the vast and strategic domain of maritime warfare and global commerce, the concepts of naval blockades and maritime chokepoints are pivotal. These mechanisms, both ancient and modern in their relevance, determine the balance of power on the seas and influence geopolitical outcomes significantly. In an age of global trade and rising maritime competition, control over these elements is more critical than ever. Understanding naval blockades. A naval blockade is a military maneuver that seeks to prevent the movement of ships in or out of enemy ports or regions, essentially strangling their economic and military capacity. Unlike territorial conquests, a blockade exerts power by cutting off a nation's access to vital resources, trade routes, and communication lines. Historical context. Naval blockades have been instrumental in major conflicts. Napoleonic Wars, 1803–1815. The British Royal Navy's blockade of France severely limited French trade and contributed to Napoleon's downfall. American Civil War, 1861–1865. The Union blockade of Confederate ports, the Anaconda Plan, was crucial in depleting the South's supplies. World War I and II. Blockades by Allied powers against Germany led to food shortages, economic collapse, and eventual military defeat. Blockades are not merely tactical, they're strategic, targeting a nation's endurance and will to fight over time. Legal frameworks and challenges. Under international law, particularly the San Remo Manual on International Law applicable to armed conflicts at sea, blockades must be declared and maintained effectively. They must not bar access to neutral ports or cause excessive harm to civilians. However, enforcement and legitimacy are often contentious, especially when economic sanctions and blockades overlap. The strategic significance of maritime chokepoints. A maritime chokepoint is a narrow channel or passage through which a significant portion of global maritime trade passes. These geographical features can be natural or human-made, and their control is a powerful tool in international relations and military strategy. Key global chokepoints. Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf with the Arabian Sea. Roughly 20% of global oil passes through it. It's a frequent flashpoint between Iran and the West. Suez Canal, a man-made waterway in Egypt connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. It shortens the Europe-Asia route by 7,000 kilometers. Panama Canal, vital for connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, particularly for U.S. military and commercial fleets. Malacca Strait. Between Malaysia and Indonesia, this is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. Bab el-Mandeb links the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden, making it crucial for trade between Europe and Asia. Vulnerability and control. Chokepoints are bottlenecks. If disrupted, global trade can be severely affected. Their narrowness makes them vulnerable to piracy, terrorism, and military conflict. Nations often deploy naval forces or establish military bases nearby to assert dominance and ensure free navigation or enforce strategic control. Modern dynamics. Blockades and chokepoints in the 21st century. Hybrid warfare and naval blockades. In modern conflicts, outright blockades may be replaced by hybrid tactics. Cyber attacks on port infrastructure, drone surveillance, or gray zone naval activities that blur the lines between peace and conflict. For example, China's actions in the South China Sea, including artificial islands and assertive patrolling, reflect an attempt to dominate regional chokepoints without formal declarations of war. Energy security and economic impact. Control over chokepoints means control over energy flow. A single disruption can cause oil prices to spike, as seen during the 2021 Suez Canal blockage. As the global economy relies on just-in-time supply chains, any naval blockade or chokepoint closure can trigger cascading effects worldwide. Great power competition, as rivalry intensifies between the U.S., China, and other rising powers, naval dominance is once again a central concern. The Indo-Pacific region, with its proximity to the Malacca Strait and South China Sea, is especially contested. Military buildups, joint naval exercises, and freedom of navigation operations all reflect the strategic importance of maritime routes. Future outlook. In an increasingly interconnected and volatile world, the importance of sea control, whether through blockades or choke point dominance, will only grow. Technological integration. Naval blockades may be augmented by AI, satellite tracking, and autonomous vessels. Climate change. Melting Arctic ice could open new routes like the Northern Sea Route, creating new choke points and geopolitical competition. Global governance. International frameworks must evolve to manage disputes and ensure maritime security, lest regional skirmishes turn into global crises. Conclusion. Naval blockades and maritime choke points remain central to the art of sea control. Their relevance spans history and continues into the digital age. Whether through traditional naval might or sophisticated hybrid strategies, the power to choke or channel the sea lanes defines the reach and resilience of modern states. In the theater of global power, the sea is not just a highway, it is a battlefield.